It's 12:30. This is All Angles on eNCA DSTV channel 403. Welcome back and thanks for watching us. Now, pupils are back in schools and in their numbers. The issue of capacity and social distancing has surfaced again, and many are questioning the Basic Education Department's plans for schools to observe COVID-19 protocols. The department plans to reduce the distance between children to 0.5 meters. That's half of what is currently there, or even less than half of what we are advised, which is at least 1.5 meters in classes, to accommodate more pupils. 5 teacher unions are very concerned about this, and they say they have not been consulted. eNCA reporter Khayelihle Khumalo today in Mangaung, in Bloemfontein, in the Free State, where the Basic Education Minister, eNCA, has been monitoring teaching and learning in primary schools. Of course, this being week 1 of the back-to-school time. Kaya, good afternoon. Welcome to All Angles. Tell us more about Minister Motshekga's visit to the Free State province. Is she happy with what she has been seeing there so far?
Well, Braden, so far so good for the Basic Education Department Minister, but she does concede that there are some certain shortcomings that she has experienced in some schools, but also, most importantly now, with this proposal of a half a meter. So it's going to be a very rigorous process. So it must be tabled before the cabinet. It should go to the net joints and then go to the NCCs for consideration. But also, once again, allaying the fears of the unions. They're saying this particular move is motivated by science, where she said they've consulted quite a number of doctors, and they're saying that there's no harm where children, they're just, away from each other for just a half a meter. And it's going to be quite a very important task for the sector as well, because initially there was an agreement that it should be 1 meter, but now subsequent to the challenges that have been experienced within the sector, especially because here, Braden, you're dealing with pupils, the primary schools, in light of the adjustment of ALET level 3, where we saw quite a massive number of pupils going back to school. So we spoke to the minister. She's quite adamant that this is quite important for the sector to try and recover, especially because so many days have been lost already. And we know that in South Africa, we're a very unequal country. You may talk about virtual learning, but not all schools will win, given a number of challenges that we still do face. But this is what she had to say, Braden.
I'm very encouraged, and I'm extremely grateful to our parents and our schools for working hard with us to make sure that we return all the learners. I mean, the last school we came from, it's a school with children with severe mental disabilities. And schools are not only schools for them, but they're also places where they get therapy, they get all medical attention from the therapist. So if they're not at school, then they lose out on their medical and support. Here, for instance, I'm told they have children with severe physical disabilities who are very sick. They have cancer patients, they have all sorts of problems. So if they're not at school, again, it's just a big problem for parents. So for our schools and our parents to work with us to say it is critical and essential that we try to have as many, we have our children back at school whilst respecting the health protocols and working very hard, because it means that we had to convert some rooms into classrooms. We had to do lots of things that will enable us to keep the health protocols but still have the kids back. So I'm very encouraged, to be honest. And the MEC says they're giving themselves up to the 10th of August, again, to assess where they've not been able to get all the learners back, what more can still be done to make sure that we have all the learners back.
Yeah, it's going to be a long process, and I don't think everybody is going to be happy. There will be concerns about that half a meter, especially now, Kaya, when, as we hear scientists are saying, unless certain things happen, like we vaccinate more and more people before, by September, we could face a 4th wave, in the country by October. But the minister seems to be confident that this is workable or doable.
Well, that's right, Braden. And also, what is a main point that she raised is they'll always consult with the key stakeholders within the education sector. So the unions are very important in this regard. And there was an undertaking that there'll be a meeting, and there's always regular meetings where they do consult about important policy decisions. And she said, this is just purely a suggestion so far, so it's not something that has been implemented so far. But the opportunity that you've had, Braden, was quite incredible, you know, right here in the Free State, going to some schools. So we went to a school with about 1,400 learners, and the principal told us that, look, it's quite a challenge, and they do really work so hard. And for example, one of the things that they do consider is making sure that using sometimes even the facilities outside of the classrooms to make sure that there's no congestion, to make sure that learners also do get those regular mask breaks every 2 hours, where they do take off the mask and breathe normally, so that, you know, they don't have any challenges, because, you know, they're still young stars. And that's a massive challenge for the department, because here the primary schools is predominantly young stars, and it's quite a very enormous challenge really to try and stress the point that they should be apart. They do play together, they do everything together, and it's going to be a very big challenge for the department.
Yeah, we'll see how that consultation of this suggestion, as the minister says, is going to play out in the next few weeks. Thank you very much, Khayelihle Khumalo, there at a school in Mangaung in the Free State.